wobbly. Again.
Are you okay? It's a common question that we like to ask people to find out how they're really doing, but quite often people don't want to admit that they're really struggling. So they just say, oh, I'm fine, I'm all right, it's all good. When in fact, deep down inside, they know they're really struggling. And in fact, many years ago, I was asked that same question and I really wasn't okay. And I actually burst out crying and I had to leave the office because I was in such an emotional state that saying yes wasn't congruent with who I am, but saying no was too painful to admit that I was actually having a real problem. So I've been looking at how people have been feeling from a mental health perspective since the start of the pandemic, and I've reviewed over 70 people's mental health state and also asked them how they are actually feeling, what 3 words they would use to describe how they're feeling at that time. And what I've found is there's actually no correlation between how we rate ourselves from a mental health perspective and the words we use to actually describe how we're feeling. The reason that is because our mental health rating, or if we're just going to say I'm okay, just looks at us overall. It takes an average across our entire life and our life at the time. So if you're struggling in one area of your life, but you're excelling in another, then you're more likely to say you're okay, when in fact, there's a particular area of your life that you're really struggling in from a mental health standpoint. So it's really important that we take the time to check in with our feelings, because our feelings, our emotions directly connect to whatever it is that is causing us to have those emotions, rather than just the word okay. So I'd like you to write down 3 words that you'd use to describe how you are feeling right now. Those 3 words, get them out of your head and onto paper. And the key thing here is to get curious, not furious, with how you're feeling. Get inquisitive behind why those emotions have come out onto your piece of paper. Why have you described yourself feeling the way you do? And those emotions can be quite a far cry from how we want to show up. And we have a high performance habit, which is defining the 3 words that we would use to describe the very best of ourselves. So the question you would ask yourself is, what is it that's causing me to feel the way I'm feeling? And what action, what can I do? What's within my control to change those feelings? And one fantastic way that you can change your feelings is through self-havening. So we can haven ourselves through rubbing our hands, through stroking our shoulders, through washing our face, to really calm down any really big emotions. And I teach my daughter Lily to do this too, and she's only 23 months old. And if you try it on a child, you'll find they can be very receptive to it, because it's a natural instinct to want to have a hug. And having a hug, stroking the arms, stroking the face, stroking the washing your hands, generates delta waves in your brain, and those delta waves really calm your brain down and calm down those emotional centers within your brain. So if you are finding that your emotions are really big and you are surprised at what you've written down on the piece of paper, then give yourself a lovely havening hug and say to yourself, safe, peaceful, calm, safe, peaceful, calm, and that will really calm down your emotional state. Now, once you've looked at those emotions, what's important here is to really find what you can do to make yourself move towards positive emotions. Now, that may be simply, as I've suggested, giving yourself a havening hug to reduce the emotional charge associated with the words you've just written down. It may mean reaching out to somebody for help to reduce that emotional charge, that having help to address the areas of your life that you're really struggling with, help to lift you out of the deep slump that you might be in. And a lot of people are really struggling with stress, anxiety and depression at this time. So it's really important that we reach out for help once we recognize we're in that situation. And as I did when I was suffering from chronic stress and started having suicidal thoughts. And that help doesn't have to be in the form of therapy. I chose to get coaching because I wanted to look forward rather than look back. And I certainly wasn't keen to spend my time talking about my history. I wanted to move forward out of the hole I was in rather than revisit it. So there are many different types of options out there for you to help you. And as I said, self-havening is a great tool to really help yourself reduce the emotional charge associated with those emotions. And then the other thing that you can do is focus on what you can be grateful for each day. And that's really getting out of yourself and looking at what you can celebrate in life, looking at how you can bring some joy into your life based on the gratitude that you can feel for the day, for that moment, for the experience that you've had. And I'm very grateful that we at the moment have the opportunity in the UK to get tested to understand whether we have coronavirus or not, and also that the vaccine is currently being rolled out to people that are high risk, who are vulnerable, and those that are supporting those that are really high risk and vulnerable. So there's so many things that we can think about each day to be grateful for, to lift us out of that mood. But as I would say, please do think about what action is within your control, including reaching out for help if you are really struggling during this time. Feelings is one of the 5 pillars of brain health, and it is really fundamental to make sure that we understand how we are feeling. It's important from an emotional intelligence perspective. It's important from a self-awareness perspective. It's important from a growth perspective so that we really can grow into the person that we want to become and manage the emotions that we have on a day-to-day basis. I hope this serves you. If you or someone you know of is really struggling with their emotions, whether that's from a past trauma, an unhelpful experience, or just from day-to-day life and the struggles that they're having, please do reach out to me for support. There's a link below this video where you can access, find out more information about my services and apply for a free strategy session to understand what programs are there and available to support you. Your brain health matters. Your feelings matter. Make sure you check in with them and get curious, not furious with them. I hope this serves you. I look forward to talking to you very soon. Bye for now.